100%. Matthew Hurn, welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions. It's awesome to have you on.
Yeah, really good to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, only a
Sure,
pleasure.
we're going to chat.
Absolutely. So give us a little bit of background as to who you are and also how we got in touch with you. You know, who bullied you into coming on to the show?
So I own a strength and conditioning gym, also a CrossFit gym. So we do weightlifting, strongman, all that kind of stuff. Laren bullied me into coming on the show,
Yep.
which wasn't really a hard sell because she was like, "Hey, do you want to do this podcast with the really cool guys?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm in."
Okay, but
Quick sale.
well then how did you end up with me though if they said a really cool guy?
I don't know. That's just what I was told. So
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that's very kind of her to say. So because you've been coaching Laren on with weightlifting.
yeah,
And then we would
I've been weightlifting. I've coached weightlifting. I coached
Google
Keelan to
says
win
cool. So,
SA's strongest man.
okay. Tell us a
Oh,
little bit more about this. So tell us about sort of the sports that you're involved with. That's pretty cool.
so I coach mainly CrossFit is our main thing that we do. That's for everyday people, the gen population, and then we specialize in weightlifting for athletes.
Right.
We also do. We've recently started powerlifting with Dane and them.
Okay, cool.
So Dane came to me. He was like, "Hey, bro, I need a place to train. I can't really train at the VA."
Yeah.
So then we took on powerlifting.
Yeah. Awesome.
And yeah, I've been involved in strongman for quite a few years too.
So we were down now in Durban at NMI, the Mercedes dealership for this year's SA Strongman Champs, and we were live streaming that. Absolutely incredible to see what those athletes get up to. There's a lot
Those guys are animals.
absolute animals for sure. So how did you get involved in sport and in coaching? Where did your career start?
So I started sports and stuff when I was in school.
Right.
My dad was actually a SA powerlifter and bodybuilder.
Oh, cool.
So I think it was in 1991 when he won under 90s Open SAs
Right.
for powerlifting. And then I just grew up in the sport. I've got a brother called Dwayne. He was also part of it. So the two of us just carried on growing within the sport.
Okay, phenomenal. What made you decide to open the gym?
So I had a supplement store with Tristan O'Brien in Broadacres.
Okay.
So he was running that, and then my brother came to me and was like, "Listen, bro, don't you want to come work with us in the gym?" So I moved back. I started working in the gym, and then everything just started growing from there.
Right. And did you sort of realize the hours and the requirements? It's fun being a gym owner because you're the guy cleaning the floor that nobody else has cleaned, tidying up bathrooms, opening up very early, closing very late.
The funniest thing I always get is like, "Yo, bro, you're a gym owner. You should be really strong. How come you're not as strong as everyone else?" I'm like, "Yo, bro, I don't have time to train. We're busy training everyone and doing everything the whole day. We don't have time to train ourselves."
It's like if you think you have an addiction to training and you need to manage that because you feel you're training too much, just open a gym. And
Just open you'll be able to not train as much as you used to train.
Absolutely. No, for sure. Or if at all, you got to keep a kettlebell next to your bed kind of stuff so you can just at least do 10 goblet squats when you wake up in the morning and that's it.
And just so that you can demo for everyone, so everyone knows that you still do train.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I think the rule is 3 reps, right? If you go to 7, that's just showing off. But you'll always have the one client who says, "Okay, we'll do 20."
Yeah. Or can you demo that for us, please?
Yeah,
just so
yeah.
they can make sure people know what you're doing.
It's like, you know exactly what I told you to do. You know exactly how to do it. There's no need for a demo here. Okay, yeah, I feel your pain. So let's talk a little bit about the weightlifting, and then I also want to touch on the strongman and the powerlifting for you. Weightlifting and with CrossFit in general, I think the public understanding of CrossFit is 70 to 80% of elite level for everything that you do. That's sort of right, the ideal goal. But if you're wanting to really perform at elite level, you need to have a little bit more specialized training, particularly in weightlifting. How have you found sort of the coaching and the specializing in terms of improving your athletes and taking them to national and international platforms?
So also, I recommend that athletes get different coaches
Mm-hmm.
for different areas of their sport. So if you want to become not if you're normal gen pop or anything, but if you want to become an elite athlete, then take on a professional running coach, take on a professional gymnastics coach, get a proper weightlifting coach. All those coaches are going to help you refine the tools that you need to get there. I've seen now that the weights and stuff in CrossFit have skyrocketed high.
Right.
And SA is suffering because when I watch them at the Renegade Games,
Yeah.
when we're at the Renegade Games, the weights that the guys had to move were really heavy for the guys and for the girls in weightlifting.
Right.
And you could see a lot of people have neglected their weightlifting going into those competitions.
How foundational should weightlifting be in an athlete's program?
So in an elite athletes program, they should be doing about once a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in elite, because the movement is such a specialized movement, it should be practiced daily.
Because it fades. Yeah, it fades very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Did you?
So like this.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I know. So like, yeah, especially like the snatch.
Yeah.
So the snatch and the clean and jerk and stuff too, to refine that movement all the time, even if it's not the heaviest day that you have, but just come in and move with the barbell in that movement, just so that you can refine the movement each day.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's chat a little bit about your career then as a coach. So, sort of maybe first club comp, provincials, nationals, international. What has that progression for you been like with regards to weightlifting?
So I was once an athlete first.
Okay.
I first started competing, and then I kind of once I started coaching, I could really just choose either or.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really focus on myself and focus on athletes. So I decided to take the road of just coaching athletes and then pretty much living through them.
Right.
Club comps, many years ago when I started coaching club comps, I never ever thought I would actually get to the highest level. And then as I progressed, it just started getting better and better, the feel that I got from traveling,
Absolutely.
So I think I started coaching overseas in 2022 was my first comp overseas.
Okay. What comp was that?
That was youth and juniors in Morocco.
Okay. How did that go for you?
I think we brought home as a team, about 8 to 10 medals.
Okay, fantastic. And then going with the athletes, because you touch on such a valuable point, and I want to get onto this, and then we'll go back to sort of the progression. I think it's very, very valuable for a coach to have performed as an athlete at local, national and international levels, so you understand what's needed for the athlete when you take them to platform. And then also the decision to shift, I think it's a very honorable decision where you say, okay, I'm giving up my lifting now, and so I can give 100% to my athletes. Because for coaches who are competing and perhaps earlier in their careers, it's something that you want to do. You want to lift with your guys, you want to have fun. But do you think you can give that full attention to your athlete if you're still worrying about your weight, your cuts, and getting onto the platform?
So I used to think it was possible. I really used to think it was possible. And I tried it for a few years, and it was like, I was like, oh, I'm getting success in myself. I've got successful athletes, all of that.
It's a win-win.
And then when I really took the shift and changed,
Right.
I realized how much better the athletes got because I could literally focus all my attention on them.
Right.
If when you're competing, as you're going through, you're getting ready, you do your weight cuts, you're getting ready to lift, your mind might say, oh, I'm 100% on my athletes. But you always have that reserve of saving something for yourself. You're pretty much just saving a little bit of energy. Every time they compete, you're saving so that you can still compete. Now
Absolutely.
I can just give it all out.
No, they're phenomenal. So what was that trip to Morocco like for the first time?
It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It was my first time coaching so many kids overseas because it was the youth and juniors.
Right.
So my first international comp, a whole bunch of kids that I had to go and coach. That's the youth and the juniors. Yeah, it was a wild ride.
And
And everything overseas is a lot bigger. So once you get there and you look at the international platform, you're like, wow,
that's it.
this is crazy.
It's the internet. A lot of the international countries, particularly for weightlifting, have a lot more support at home as well, with training camps and travel assistance and all of this support for the athletes. South Africa is doing, I think, I would say, the best that they can in terms of that support. Were you able to get training camps together for the guys to let them work together before you went?
So I think as South Africa, we could actually even do better.
Yeah.
Most coaches in South Africa, and I'm very honest about my opinions in what I have to say. So
Cool.
if the guys
We
like it, they like
we
it.
we
If
we,
they
we,
don't, they
we
don't.
g- and we're going to get to that.
Um,
Yeah.
a lot of the guys don't like to share or to help each other or
Mm.
to train with each other, or so it's a very secluded section in weightlifting.
Right.
Instead of guys being, hey guys, let's all get together and do this and share programming and share advice and help each other out. Everyone's just like, no, this is mine. I'm going to keep it. I'm not going
Sure.
to help anyone.
So
So
very different to powerlifting.
very different to powerlifting. Very different to powerlifting. And it would be really cool if we can start getting training camps together and all that kind of stuff. You get more out of CrossFit gyms that want to get together and have a good time and lift together than actually phoning a weightlifting gym and say, hey guys, let's all go lift together.
Yeah.
And then guys like, oh, I can't make it because of this, or I can't make it because of that, or so it's a tough one.
What do you think has been the cause for the development of that culture within weightlifting?
I actually have no idea. It's been like that for many years.
Has it been that sort of Olympic dream thing where you can then go and represent your country? Maybe under the belief there might be greater rewards at the end of the day, or do you think that there's a view from weightlifters potentially that they see themselves as more elite and then more isolated than other sports such as powerlifting or strongman, or because all of these smaller sports have all developed only because the competitors are training with one another, lending equipment, lending gear, supporting one another at comps.
I think because it's so small,
Mhm.
and most coaches think that if they're just coaching these athletes, that they keep the athletes to themselves and nobody else can kind of steal their athletes.
Right.
But nobody's stealing athletes. We're all just trying to help each other to get to the next level.
That's it. And I think,
I
sorry, go ahead.
also think it's very important for guys to realize that as you go from a club competition
Mm-hmm.
to a provincial competition, it's no more about that lifter being your club's lifter. It's now the provincial lifter.
Yeah.
And when they go from a provincial level to a SA level, it's no more about them being a provincial lifter. It's now about them lifting for the country and being an SA lifter.
Right.
So it's in the priority for coaches to worry about coaching them at the next level and not worrying about them being, oh, this person's from my club or that person's from my club. They're now SA lifter, which means they're lifting for SA.
Yeah, it's such a valid point that you made. And I don't have a lot of experience with weightlifting in South Africa. I've been fortunate enough to sort of get to know guys like Darren Anthony. And also, I trained under Rodney Anthony, his uncle, as well. So there's that a little bit of history there, but it was primarily powerlifting. I got into powerlifting, Matthew, because I went to go to Rodney to learn an overhead squat, and he looked at me and my shoulder mobility. He says, "No, you're a powerlifter." So, yeah, that's how my journey started. But I think it's what I've seen within SA powerlifting, and it came in a few years ago, was, for example, no club T-shirts at provincials. You wear your provincial T-shirt only. At the medal ceremony, it's, your tracksuit, if you have one, for your province, and your T-shirt, and that separation. And then definitely at nationals, you're wearing your provincial stuff. So, it's not about club T-shirts for club comps, but when you represent your province, you represent. And as you said, it's building the athlete as an asset for the country, not for the individual coach. Do you think it's
100%.
a short short-term mindset from coaches that they think, okay, well, this is my athlete, I can't get another one, as opposed to I'm going to be doing this for 30 years?
I think it could be a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just some coaches just want to say that they're the best coach
Yeah.
instead of worrying about athletes, you know.
I think it's an interesting thing because having been an athlete and you having been an athlete, you're the best athlete in that lift, in that moment where, you know, sometimes your head's not in the game. So you can be, you know, you can say you're the best coach, but you're the best coach for that athlete at that lift. The next lift might go completely different. So, you know, we all bring different things. I just think back to my opening squat in essays, and I think it was 2017, where I had my coach's hat on, not my athlete's hat on. I went down, came up halfway, I thought, no, that wasn't deep enough, and I went down again for more depth. So everyone's looking at me like, wait, what? What was that? So like the warm-up area is back there. So, you know, we really do have to understand that the athletes are assets. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. But back to sort of Morocco, being overseas with the athletes, what did that sort of teach you? And what was the value that you saw in these athletes having the international experience, the opportunity to represent their country and to travel to another country? Because we did Africa Champs in Morocco, I think 2016 or 2015. It was epic. The coffee was off the hook. The one challenge in Meknes where we were was the Olympic Stadium that we were in had one working toilet for the guys. So that was a bit of a challenge at the time. They were busy doing renovations and stuff. So what was that experience like for you and for the athletes?
So we were pretty lucky because we were in Casablanca.
Okay.
So
The capital,
that's
yeah.
pretty that's capital. So everything was working, all the toilets were working, everything was functional.
The difference between
I think
Olympic lifting and powerlifting, you see. Yeah.
I think I took away a lot of lessons from that competition. In terms of coaching, staying on time,
Mm-hmm.
how to manage athletes, all that kind of stuff when we go overseas. So it was definitely a big learning experience.
Sure.
As it was my first one over there,
Right.
and yeah, I was the only coach that went. So it was a tough ride,
yeah. I think,
but it was
yeah, a lot of fun.
The athletes were also really cool that went with. So it was also helped that all the athletes behaved themselves.
Yeah.
Everyone was ready to lift. We all came focused. Everyone came in on a weight. So it was like
Okay, awesome. And again, such a valid point because when we, you know, South African coaches are in powerlifting, in so many sports, your athletes are paying your way, right? And you've got it, you know, you're not getting the support from the state, unfortunately. And so many sports, even Olympic level sports, and the athletes should also understand that, yeah, they got to make the coach's job as easy as possible. Like, can't go out and, you know, misbehave at night and disappear, and then the coach isn't sleeping because they're looking for you or running around. And I think what people also don't understand is that, very simple, coaches don't eat. So for athletes, when you have an early morning weigh-in, you go for your weigh-in with your coach is there, and then you go and eat before you lift or do whatever you have to. The coach is running around doing everything they can. They're not sitting at the hotel buffet having breakfast, you know, and then it's one, you got to stay for the medal ceremony and the photos, and then the next session and the next session, and suddenly you get through the whole day and you've maybe had a bar one or a protein bar or something, a couple of cups of coffee. So it's not that easy. And I think it's a big, there is glamour, but I don't think it's as glamorous as people realize. What was that experience like for you?
yeah. So the toughest one I had was actually with Rodney.
Okay.
We were at the African Games in Ghana.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
There wasn't even enough food for the athletes.
Sure.
We had
Okay.
to myself and Rodney and myself pretty much had to make plans, figure out how to get food for everyone,
Right.
and you were just eating rations and working all day. It was a wild ride.
It's not as glamorous as everyone thinks.
No,
Although,
the
yeah,
glam But it was worth it. It was a fun ride. It was a good competition.
Right.
We brought back the fourth most medals out of all the different sports that went for SA.
Got to do this.
So that was pretty.
That's epic. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it was that.
yeah. Did Rodney at least tell you about the 2000 Paralympics in Sydney? Because I think he said he was eating about 20 kilos of steak a day.
Rodney's been around in the sport for so long.
Yeah.
He's got so many stories.
100%. Yeah. I just thought
Never ran out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, never ran out of stuff to talk about. Absolutely. I think while we're touching on this, and let's lead up to the comp that's coming up. Are you guys still busy with your fundraiser? How is that going? How is that looking?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're almost there. I think we've done well so far.
All right, awesome. How can people support and help?
So they can always just reach out to Lauren if they want to help.
Okay.
She's got a buddy page and all of that.
All right, awesome.
So yeah,
and I think
it can just go.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's going to be the best route to go, is to reach out to
her. It's so important that, and every small amount helps. It doesn't have to be 10,000 Rand. It can be 500 Rand. It can be $100. Whatever it is, every amount helps. And it's so valuable for the country to have athletes going overseas, to have coaches going overseas, and to get that platform time and that platform experience. Because as you like going to your first international, nothing prepares you. You walk in and it's like, this is what I loved about being at Sun City in 2023 for World Bench at the Sun Park Arena. Now, that's a venue that's 100 meters by 50 meters. The Harney Smith, the organizer, had 14 warm-up racks, plus a gym of 4 racks, plus a rack height rack. These things are just, they're off the hook, and you're like, wow. So it's so important. So from my side, guys, if you can, get in touch with Lauren. We follow her. Her details are on our Instagram as well with the interview, and just go and support where you can. Got to help. You're going to go with as well, Matthew. So, you've got to help the athlete, because you don't want to be going to comps on your own overseas.
It's very tough to try and compete without a coach overseas.
Yeah. Very,
I know lots of guys end up going, and if they don't take their coach, another athlete will help them out or anything like that. But it's really tough to try and do that when you're trying to get your maxes out on that platform.
That's it. And when you come back with medals and experience, or just experience, whatever it is, it benefits the whole country. Those stories benefit, whether that's going to speak at schools about the experience and the opportunity. And, ultimately there is that Olympic goal that you can still go for in weightlifting, which is absolutely fantastic. So touching on Strongman for a little bit, can you share a little bit of your experience in that incredible sport?
So I actually used to train. It's quite a cool story. I used to train with Keelan many years ago when we started training in the regular, just your regular health and racket, I think it was back then.
Which one? Jeez, that's
the health and racket. Yeah, in Winchester
Hills. Okay, yeah. All right, I remember that one. I did my apprenticeship at TEDx, so Heronmere Road in Boyson. So I know that part of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, so we trained for many years, and then we stopped training for a little bit. I had movement crew at Marefilian High School, was where it was at the stage. I think it was 2017.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. And Keelan arrived at the gym, and he took about half an hour to walk up the ramp. And I said to him, bro, listen, you can't walk around like this.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you have to be unfit.
Yeah.
So his goal his goal at the time was to win SA's strongest man for the first time, because he hadn't won it yet.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well then come in, let's train every day, and we can go for it. So we trained for about, I think it was about 6 months.
Okay.
And then 6 to 8 months, then he hit the stage and took the comp.
Sure.
So that was my first introduction to Strongman.
What was that like for you as the coach?
A really cool feeling to try something new and then be able for him to achieve it.
That's very, very cool. Well,
Yeah.
we're chatting with some of the strongman athletes over the couple of weeks or so just before the comp, and also at the competition. What I saw within strongman is, and obviously was much lighter weight, but the movements are very functional. They're very, there's carries, there's yoke carries, farmer carries, the deadlifts, moving the sandbags around and moving with the weight. I think it's incredibly valuable. Is this a sport you would like to see some schools take up, or schools start to look at, perhaps in addition to rugby and cricket and the other sports?
Yeah, they could add strongman. So obviously it'll be a little bit of a lighter load in the beginning, but as they get stronger, the kids can definitely grow from it.
Yeah.
It definitely builds character.
100%, absolutely.
I did strongman with Keelan for those 8 months while I was coaching him, and I
Okay,
think I came second
sure.
in the under 105s.
Okay, awesome, man. Well done. Listen,
But it definitely taught me a lot of character.
yeah. What was your favorite event, and what was your least favorite?
So for me, the axle was really cool
Yeah.
because I think we had a touch and go axle. I can't remember. I think it was about 102 kilos or something like that, the actual weight, or 107 or whatever.
Okay.
But because I have a weightlifting background, the axle I clean and jerked it with a reverse grip.
Okay.
So I clean it and then I jerked it. So for every rep I was doing, the other guys were only doing one. I was doing two.
Right. So
that's for me. I was
yeah.
I've got this because I've got the technique.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is
So that
weightlifting something that the strongmen should be looking at?
So they should definitely get it into their wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely helps you use your hips, develop the speed that you need to get stuff up.
Yeah.
I've never picked up a stone before. I tried to pick up a stone the week before. I couldn't get the stone up. Then I arrived there, and because of weightlifting, my weightlifting background,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to take the stone over the beam.
Oh wow! Okay, phenomenal.
I did about 8 reps on a 120 stone.
Good.
So yeah, but
sorry, go.
But it was because of the movement pattern.
Mm-hmm.
The movement patterns are very similar.
Do you think it's also the confidence in the catch? Sort of that where you can let that weight, you can jerk it out, get it up fast, and then you can get it to settle and catch it where it needs to settle.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
Phenomenal. What's your least favorite?
Carry, anything carry.
Okay.
Farmers carry,
Sandbags,
anything, yoke,
yeah,
sandbag, anything like that. I dislike a carry. I do them,
yeah,
but I don't love it.
Don't love them. But there you go. I mean, that's the character development, right? I think
I lost.
Yeah.
I think I lost most of my points on the farmers carry.
Okay. So that's it's really you got to do the stuff you don't want to do. You got to do the stuff that you don't love, or that shall we say doesn't love you, and make it a lot of fun. To go back to the coaching aspect, and where may create a little bit of controversy, not intentionally, but I think new coaches really need to look at older coaches and more experienced coaches. And I'm going to start off with a couple of questions on that. I think, firstly, do you think there should be rules, as there is now with SAPF, that if you want to coach at, I think it's even provincial level, you need to have your ref exam done so that you can start to support the sport as well? Should established coaches, be referees? And putting a little bit more into the coaching nationally and internationally, rather than just taking the athlete to the platform and leaving.
So weightlifting also just introduced that now.
Okay, awesome.
As you have to do your technical officials course to be a coach. I agree and I disagree at the same time.
Okay.
So one thing I agree on is that coaches do need to know those rules, because it is very important. But the rule set for coaches is a different rule set for TOs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that coaches need to have a coach development course that they should take. to be able to coach.
Okay. There should be
So
a
the
base
rules,
standard.
so the rules and stuff that come from the TO courses, the rules that coaches need to know should be set out towards coaches. So like,
Okay.
how do you use a challenger card? What happens if athletes miss weight? How do athletes weigh in? What must athletes wear? That kind of stuff. Those all need to be directed at coaches, and coaches should do a course on that. But coaches don't really need to know what color must the TO's uniform be,
Right.
or how far must the TO sit away from the platform. Or once they start doing that, you start to lose focus on what actual coaches need to know in terms of the actual the events.
Right. Yeah, what else do you think is needed within weightlifting coaching within South Africa?
I think it also goes both ways. Youngsters can learn from the older guys. The older guys can also learn from the youngsters.
Yeah.
Because things have changed a lot since back then.
Social media is not a bad thing.
Social media is not a bad thing all the time.
Recording
Sometimes
your lifting is not always bad.
But I think, so the older coaches can learn from some of the youngsters. The youngsters can definitely learn from the older guys. Everyone should work a little bit more together.
Yeah.
And coach development should also be something, not just athlete development.
Right. I love that. So you should actually like coach development workshops with all the coaches working together, putting in time together.
Yeah, so a few years ago, I brought More Strength here. They're the guys from China. They did all the courses and stuff with the Chinese guys.
Okay.
Their coaching stuff works in different levels. So say for us, you would start coaching primary school, then a different coach would coach school, a different coach would coach university, and you would establish that once that coach gets better, they move up to the next level and new coaches come in and start primary school.
Right.
And you coach all the way up, the same as athletes would compete their way all the way up.
Sure. That's a phenomenal idea, because it's understanding the long-term progression of becoming a coach, because you really do need time in the gym and time on the platform, and I'm talking years. I always say that I think for an Olympic weightlifting coach to be an effective coach, it's about 10 years. You know, powerlifting, you can do relatively simple. I mean, that's why they're called the dumb lifts. You know, they are technical, but they're not as technical. And you're not, thank heavens, putting any weight overhead. So I think really, like, it's got to be a lot of time. And then you need, it's that rite of passage of sticking within the sport. Having a martial arts background as well, you know, every martial arts instructor gets heartbroken when students grade to green belt, as an example, because they never come back afterwards. And I had a wonderful instructor who passed away sadly a few years ago, and he always said at his funeral he wants his blue belts to lower him into, or the guys who quit after getting their blue belts, to lower him into the ground so they can let him down one last time. And so I think it is that progression and taking the sport seriously, because speaking to so many athletes over the years, everybody says, yes, we need sponsorship, we need support, we need the corporates to come in, we need the coverage, we need all of this stuff, which we do, but that comes from professionalism. If you're going to ask a company to invest hundreds of millions or several hundreds of millions, whatever that is, over a time frame, then there needs to be that professional level, because they need to be investing in their athletes. In the athletes and in the sport as well. Just by the way, there's a gentleman, Dane Groenewold, just popped onto the stream, I see, on Instagram. So you can say hi to Dan. Yeah, how's it? So I think where do you see that type? Do you see that type of evolution taking place in South Africa? I need to be careful with my wording here. Is the sport mature enough? Are those sort of that are the main guardians of the sport at a level where they can say this is a really good idea?
So I think over time it will come into play.
Yes.
There's still a few battles in weightlifting that coaches and everyone is fighting at the moment.
Right.
But stuff's getting there. Things are moving forward. So I think in the future things can start developing that way.
Awesome. We have a comment here from Dane. Let me move that into the middle here. There we go. Better late than never. Absolutely, 100%. It's nice of him to join us back from Germany.
You know,
Hey,
better late than pregnant, Dane.
better late than pregnant. This is also true, 100%. So I think, if we look at the point of, with the weightlifting as an example, or with any sport, chatting to athletes, they always say, I want to be on the podium with my country's flag over my shoulders, a medal around my neck, wearing a tracksuit, or just, I want to be able to represent South Africa and wear the tracksuit officially. So it comes down to representing the country. So the view of everyone within the sport should be country first, then athlete, and then coach. What are your thoughts on that?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I think if we can push that, that's when all the good stuff comes. So
lots of guys do stuff for themselves, and it definitely, once you start getting to the higher levels of coaching and competing and all of that, it does start to become more about your country.
Yeah, that's it. And
like if you look at the Springboks, they will die for our country.
Yeah, 100%. And even, I was watching one with one of the interviews with Rassie, and my mind's gone blank. One of the other coaches, where he was talking about a player who was about to receive their 50th cap, and Rassie didn't know about it. And the player who was on the field in that position said, "Coach, can I go off and we can swap him out so he can get his cap?" And that's the support. It's country, it's team, it's coach, and the athlete is after the country and the coach is after the athlete. So that's something really that does need to happen. Comment here from Ginger Beast. Love him. Best feeling ever, walking onto a podium with your country's flag over your shoulders. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
That's something very, very cool. Hey, listen, on a light-hearted point, should there be a medal ceremony for coaches?
In Africa, we get stuff. So, like if we travel Africa, the African guys also appreciate the coaches. We get certificates, all sorts of stuff.
That's very cool.
Which is really
very cool. Almost like a team principle, right? So on F1, you got to get a little.
At the gym, I've got all my certificates that I hang on the wall for all the international comps that I coached.
Oh, epic! That's very, very cool. So just touching on, we can have both strongman and weightlifting, but let's look at weightlifting first. My favorite questions that I like to ask all of my guests: what do you love about weightlifting?
There's just so much. The feeling of landing that perfect lift, that you don't feel it very often.
Yeah.
In 10 years, I think I felt it twice. So that feeling of landing that perfect lift is unmatched to any feeling I've ever felt.
Sure. Awesome.
And then also to watch athletes achieve their goals and achieve what they want to achieve on the platform is also, words can't really explain those kinds of feelings.
I think, and whether that's at club comp or international level, you get that look. The athlete gets that look in their eyes, the look on their face, and that the hard work that's gone into it. I think that's very, very special. Love that.
I mean, I've had an athlete snatch 40 kilos on a local competition, and some of the most exciting stuff we've ever had.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. That's it. I think that really is why, and particularly for primary school kids, younger, should get to a gym with a good weightlifting coach and start getting in that weightlifting. You can do the powerlifting as well, but I think that weightlifting, for that explosiveness and that speed, balance, coordination, it's absolutely incredible. I think, Rodney says the most complete athletes in the world are elite level weightlifters, and then I think judo, Olympic level judo. So really, really cool.
Also, if you look at some of the best CrossFit athletes in the world, even like Matt Fraser, he came from weightlifting. Weightlifting it builds the foundation of all sports.
That's it. Yeah. The 100%. It is. I mean, it's the foundation of any elite athlete that is training appropriately. And then when you get to my age, you start powerlifting. It's wonderful, and you just
It's
stay in strength. You know.
we always have this joke. It's where weightlifters go to die.
Yeah. Go to retire. It's like Florida. It's Hermanus, for South
But
African athletes. Huh?
but you're never too old to powerlift.
Yeah, you're never too old to
So,
powerlift.
so my dad quit powerlifting in about 95.
Okay,
And then in 2020,
sure.
I said to him, listen, why don't you get off the couch and come powerlifting? I've got some guys in the gym there that are powerlifting. Why don't you join them?
Yeah,
And then he went and broke 6 world records.
phenomenal. Sure. And what was that like for him? Like, what did that reignite within him?
Well, for him, when he was actually powerlifting, his main goal was to break the world record.
Okay.
And he got close, but he never achieved it.
Right.
So for him to come back at 62 years old
Sure.
and break the world records, he was like, this is obviously in his age category and his weight category.
Still a world record.
But for him, he came back and broke it. He's like, I never thought in my life that I'd be able to go and break the world record.
Sure.
And then he did it.
Absolutely phenomenal. We got another one here from Ginger Beast. Look at Dan, who's almost 200 years old and still does powerlifting. Never too old.
See,
yeah, I think he's about 235 years old, actually, the Dan Oppenheim. The man can squat double body weight or, 2.5 times body weight, but he needs blocks to get onto the bench.
But you're never too old for power.
Never too old for powerlifting. What drives you mad about weightlifting?
About weightlifting?
Yeah. And okay, you apologies, 235 years old, absolutely. The gas on the gas heater's just run out. I'm just going to close the tap. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. It's getting a bit pongy in here. Hold it in the studio. Hang on.
So we don't want you to pass out there, Nick.
Yeah. Suddenly you don't want to be the guy dying on the podcast, right?
No, definitely not.
I just heard it going, oh, come on, are you joking? Like, really? So, what drives you mad about weightlifting? We got time.
I've got plenty of time.
Cool. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, these are some tough questions, eh?
Yeah. You can have it as a light-hearted question, or you can have it as a serious question. So this is a platform for you and anyone that we have on to share their thoughts.
If I have my light-hearted answer, then athletes is what drives me mad in weightlifting.
Cool.
Athletes that don't listen is what drives me mad in weightlifting.
So you have to turn the volume up a little bit more there. Yeah, okay, cool. Athletes, did you hear? Is there anyone in particular you want to mention?
No, I'm not calling out. They all know.
They know.
They all know who they are.
Okay. Because
you don't have to call them out. When you tell athletes something, the guilty ones know exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. I worked for a financial services company called Hereford, and our CEO, this is probably 25 years ago, used to say, if you think I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you.
Definitely.
We have a comment from Laren Jeffries. Look at those eyes.
Is she one of them?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's what do you think?
Well, if you're guilty, you know it.
Yep, that's it, 100%. If you're guilty, you know it. And more importantly, the coach knows you know it. So, all right, cool. Anything on the more serious stuff you want to discuss, or you just want to stick to the light-hearted response?
We can chat. The weightlifting, it's just everything about weightlifting is amazing for me. So when I first started CrossFit, weightlifting is definitely something that stole my heart from the start. The raw power of a clean and jerk to the finesse of a snatch.
Sure.
It's just, because if you watch snatching, it's like watching ballet.
Yeah.
And then you watch a clean and jerk, it's like you're watching the movie 300.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hold on. If
Yeah.
you watch other people snatch, not mine, okay, that's just poor Coach Steve. Yeah. I think it's one of the reasons he left the country, and then at least he's come back now. But yeah,
You see, you went to powerlifting, you came back.
yeah, there we go, 100%. He's like, no, thank you. Come on, let's be realistic here, 100%. What has weightlifting given you?
A lot of fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fulfillment. Um, yeah, it's really changed the way I view sport, because weightlifting goes into so many different sports that I've been able to coach a lot of different sports and a lot of different athletes. So it's kind of opened the door for me to be able to coach a lot more than just weightlifting.
Oh, phenomenal.
I've started working with running athletes. I'm working with a whole bunch of new athletes that I'm trying to get into different sports. So yeah, and weightlifting has been the door.
Okay, phenomenal. Love that. So 2 more questions. What does weightlifting in South Africa need?
More athletes, more youth, more development, more athletes.
Okay, cool. And what?
100%, because at the moment we're running out of youngsters.
Okay.
So I think we really started need to pushing youngsters into the sport. We've got a lot of older athletes and a lot of masters athletes, but if we really want to grow the sport and we really want to get going, we really, really, really need to start developing youngsters.
How can that be done? What needs to be done for that?
The federation needs to start approaching schools so we can start getting weightlifting into schools. It's very hard to approach schools and stuff as an individual club.
Yes, because they
So
think
if
it's
I
from a
arrive
business point of view, right?
if I arrive at a school and I'm just trying to get in there and I'm like, listen, can we coach? We thought that this is our gym. We've got this many athletes. They're just like, yeah, nah. But if SAWF had to go and say, hey guys, listen, we want to start putting this in schools, and then allocating us coaches to say, hey, you in the south of Johannesburg, can you coach these schools on these days? And then go to another one, hey, you in the north of Johannesburg, can you coach these schools in these days? And start doing that. I think that's the way we're going to start getting in.
So, I mean, we have the platform. If there's a message for SAWF, what would that be? Get in touch with the coaches.
I love what you're doing. Let's do more.
Okay, sure. Love that. Beautiful. Phenomenal. What do you, so that's sort of what weightlifting needs. What do you think weightlifting, and it may well be a similar answer, but what do you think weightlifting within South Africa is currently lacking?
Definitely a very similar answer. The development.
Okay, got to have that development aspect of it, and someone to drive.
The main problem is, like, if we have to host a youth and juniors comp in Gauteng, that youth and juniors comp will be maybe about a 4 or 5 hour competition.
Sure. Okay.
That competition should be a 2 to 3 day competition.
Right. So it's something that, you know, and I think maybe if we just chat about the practicality aspects of it, there is a relatively high cost to set up, but not massive. And once that cost is paid, you know, the equipment is there. That's the beautiful thing about the equipment. It doesn't have a battery life, doesn't have a shelf life. If you look after it, if you're not dropping your 5-kilo plates on the bar, you know, the little rubber ones from, you know, from Physique or Rebel, you know, those back in the day. I gave Rodney as a present 4 of those plates, and I think they lasted about 2 weeks. So, you know, he's got those 2.5s. No, not even the 5 kilos. They were 2.5. Sorry. So, you know, there's not a huge cost. There's not a huge, well, there's a cost, but it's not huge. The equipment will last forever. If you were to speak to corporates to say, listen, this is the benefit of what weightlifting does, and I love the component of character development as well that you spoke about, because I think it's in Strongman, it's in weightlifting. There's an opportunity to represent club, province, country. There's the opportunity to focus on a healthier lifestyle. And I think what's really, really missing for so many young people today, given what we've been through with the pandemic over the last few years, is that social interaction and that value at competition. And I think that's really what's needed. And it's not a huge investment for corporates to invest in a school with the weightlifting and then to work a deal with it with a coach that's in the area. Like, okay, we will pay you X amount to go through and coach. Maybe there's an opportunity. I know it's a challenge with Model C schools to have a gym based there and have coaches based there that members of the public can come through to as well. But, you know, these are the things that need to start at grassroots level. And I think, you know, buy a couple of bars, buy some plates, and buy a couple of platforms. So I'd love your thoughts on that.
There's also loads of ways that schools can do this.
Mm.
So you can either there's lots of CrossFit gyms around Johannesburg. So if CrossFit gyms are near schools, you could just take the kids to the CrossFit gyms.
Yeah.
You know, you could get them to start even doing CrossFit or weightlifting or whatever in those gyms. That way, the small business owners earn money, plus the schools will get development.
Yes.
Or you can set up a CrossFit gym or weightlifting gym at your school,
Yeah.
which someone can come in and do. The way those guys can make money is they run the school programs for the school, but they don't charge the school. But then they can run programs for the parents and stuff, but the parents come in and do CrossFit and train.
Yeah, don't sit in your car and drink a Friezo. Go and train for 45 minutes before you pick your kids up.
Or while your kid's busy playing rugby on the rugby field, come train and take your kid home afterwards. You know, so development that guys can do and their schools can get involved, that they can start to make everyone healthy.
100%. So we got corporates that are watching this, or even smaller businesses that want to get involved. They can just DM you directly and get in touch, and hopefully start the ball rolling, even in a small way. Theo, one of our phenomenal comrades runner, says "us." That's a term that we use from Japanese martial arts as a greeting or as acknowledgement. So I think it's for you as a sign of respect. You know, he's been running multiple comrades. He's an absolute lunatic. So very cool to see him on. I think with the sport and with the growth of the sport, everybody benefits, right? The country, the athletes, the parents, the coaches, the gyms. Gyms employ people. You know, you're supporting a really important small business segment of the country.
Also, lots of these smaller gyms are community based.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much, if you went through your area or your suburb where that gym is placed, and you went and trained at one of those gyms, all the people that train there are from your community.
Yeah.
So they're your neighbors, they're the person that works down the road. Everyone owns different businesses in those little spaces. So you could all start to support each other just by going to the gym and meeting each other.
Sure. I love that. What was it? We used to have the little business development forums, and I think the gym, a community gym, a local gym, is really a great place to do that. And there's something very special about sharing that load and that weight together.
Yeah, cool. Hard work builds a strong community.
That hard work builds a strong community. There's a tagline, right? That's a payoff line, absolutely. I haven't chatted to the guys yet from the Soweto Weightlifting Club, but I do follow them on Instagram. Have you had any interaction with them, any experience with them? Could you tell us a little bit about it if you have? Yeah,
I've worked with them before. We've done a few things with them. I've had them at the gym before. I've trained with some of them. We see them at comps all the time. Their development is really good. They've got a lot of youth and youngsters that they start to develop. We need more of those though.
We need more.
We need more. Way more small sport driven things like that.
So I think from our side, what we would like to offer, just let us know when you guys have competitions, whether that's club or provincial or national. We'd love to come and live stream it, and we do that at no cost. And we do it just to support the sport, So we did Armdruk 3 is groot on Saturday, and we brought in mobile cameras on gimbals. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. You got guys with biceps wider than my waist, and I'm not a skinny guy. It's quite terrifying. So
I think we need to use that venue for weightlifting comp.
yeah, how awesome is that venue? Hey, absolutely. Silver
It
Lakes
was
Country
amazing.
Hotel. I think there was a lady there, 47 kilos, and she one-arm curled the 50-kilo dumbbell.
She one-arm curled the 50-kilo dumbbell.
I stand under credit. I'm sure, yeah, she got it like so easy. She just got up there. She like pretending it was tough and just went dunk. It's like, okay.
After this podcast, I'm about to double scoop my pre-workout
Yeah.
and go to the gym.
Take that creatine to 80 milligrams, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, and I think that's the thing as well, is that these sports can be for anybody, and they find that there's there's something for everyone. There's a sport for everyone to fit into and feel at home in, which I think is absolutely incredible. That's why I do this, because this stuff saved my life. When I stopped drinking 18 years ago, the first night I came back from my meeting, I couldn't go to the Keg and Beagle, and I watched a documentary on Charles Atlas, and I figured I'll start with a push-up. One push-up is all I could manage, but by the end of the week it was 10. And that got me to fill that very, very dark time, so I wasn't in my head as much as possible. And you know that when you're pushing through and you're digging that hole, spoke about like 300. So much of what I found in training and exercise was through Mark Twight and Jim Jones and that ethos. It's the dark hole can be a very, very safe place for a little bit of peace from what's going on in our own heads.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I enjoy CrossFit so much.
Yeah.
Is that you spend a lot of time in that dark place that eventually becomes comfortable.
Yeah. And you miss it, right? It's absolutely phenomenal. So we're hitting about 56 minutes, and Instagram only gives us an hour if we want to repost the podcast from the archive. So just as we wrap up, firstly, Matthew, it's been epic chatting to you. Can't wait to chat to you when you guys are back. And I think there's a lot more that we can unpack and chat about. And maybe we can prep that before we go on air. But from your side, is there anything that you'd like to wrap up with and share just before we close off?
I just think more people need to get involved. More people need to start training. More people need to start trying out different sports, seeing what you like, see what you really enjoy. I mean, there's CrossFit athletes that have never tried weightlifting on a platform.
Yeah.
There's some athletes that have never tried powerlifting on a platform. Even Strongman. I recommend the guys try all sorts of sports.
Yeah.
There's no point in being healthy and fit and then not using it.
Yeah, that's it. And you can get healthy and fit without jumping around, with all due respect to aerobics, without in an aerobic studio. And when you do these strength sports, you understand the value of your body, and it's not about chasing thin, it's about chasing what your body can do. And that very simply can change your life.
Yeah, that's a very important thing to know.
Okay.
Is that it's not about the scale. It's literally about what can your body do.
Yeah, that's it.
Because we're capable of so much more than what we give ourselves for.
Yeah, 100%. I think I was 76 kilos, and I did a Turkish get-up with weight plates with the holes in them, those old hexagonal Genesis plates, and we would stack them on. I think I was 76. I did a 32 kilogram or a 32 kilo Turkish get-up, left and right, and like coming from a guy who was a 20 draft a day drunk. That was a life-changing event for me. And I thought, like, what can I put overhead? And that changed, from being fat, I was chasing a six-pack, which I got. But then I realized I couldn't get as much weight up and overhead as I wanted. And that's where I sort of kicked into powerlifting and going heavy. So, we got 60-kilo kettlebells. They're fun. I'm not putting them overhead, but don't worry, they're great for farmers' carries. So too much fun. Yeah, I've got a small problem, Matthew. I think 1,750 kilos of kettlebells. It's a slight problem.
That's definitely a slight problem.
There's an addiction issue there for sure. And some of the
most of it's the shoes.
Yeah.
Most of us it's the shoes.
So for me it's kettlebells. It's fine. At least it's kettlebells and not a Lyco platforms, because you can only really have an addiction with one of those, and then you realize, no, I can get a lot of other stuff. You can start to build around that as well. So for sure. But man, it's been absolutely epic chatting to you. We got some great comments and feedback, really good views as well. I appreciate your time. We wish you guys all the very best with the fundraising, guys. Get in touch and help out with Aaron. Just, let's get you guys there, and and have a good time. Come back with experience. Come back with a medal if you can. And it's just, we need more coaches.
There's no ifs.
Sorry,
there's no ifs.
There's no ifs.
There's no ifs, Nick.
Oh yeah, 100%. Hang on. Even throwing up parts. Look at this. Or the 1970. Let's give some fireworks. It's even better. There we go. 1970s DJ. That's my dream.
Nothing beats 1970s DJs.
Nothing beats 1970s DJs. Absolutely good. So no ifs, no ands, no buts about it. And we look forward to maybe chatting to both of you when you're back.
Lovely.
Awesome. So I'm just going to end the live stream, and then I'll be back with you in a few seconds. All right. Cool.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you, folks, for joining us.